Alright everyone, my name's Bosh, this is Bosh's Beginner Bits, and before I start I just wanted to do a quick sort of disclaimer, warning as such. The microphone I'm using, I'm still getting used to it, and I'm still figuring out how best to record the audio with it. So throughout this video I've realised while I was editing it that the audio for my mic is crap. It's distorted in places, there's a lot of air, I'm blowing a lot into the mic and things like that. I'm going to get my pop shield sorted out. Hopefully you can deal with it. I'm sorry. If you can't, you'll have to wait for the next video. If you can, enjoy. Here's my part 2 on making Steppas dub in Ableton using only Ableton plugins and samples. Enjoy. Now, in the last video I did Steppas, and I had a request for more Steppas from someone in the chat or in the comments. So I'm going to do more Steppas. Hopefully it doesn't sound too much like it did last time. I'm going to try and make it sound different so you can hopefully get something more out of this tutorial. And as per usual, I'm going to try my hardest to stick to Ableton plugins. I will be using my own samples, but I'm going to try and... Shall I do it all Ableton samples as well? Full Ableton samples, no messing around. So let's get straight into it. Let's type in hats in here. And we're just going to have a flick through. Now, I don't want a loop. I'm not really big on loops. So let's have a listen to some of these. Let's do with them too. They sound relatively realistic, as much as they can do for Ableton samples. Now, I'm going to do a simple hat pattern. Let's see which one sounds better, actually. Let's do it the other way around. It sounds a bit more natural, I reckon. Let's just do that for now. So your kicks are going to be on that as well. 4/4. I want to put that towards the end. And then we go to this here, duplicate. If you don't know about this, this doubles the length of the space that you're working in there. So let's duplicate that. And then we want to vary the last bar here. So it's going to go like that. And then just duplicate it again. So now you're going to have 4 bars. Let's do that. Simple. Straight away what I'm going to do is EQ that, because I don't know if you can tell, hopefully you're listening in headphones, but there's quite a lot of low end in that, and you'll see it when I drop the EQ on there. Let's expand this by double click. All you need to do is double click on there to expand your EQ. Look at all this. We don't need that. It's a hi-hat, we don't need it. So we'll put on a high pass filter. Let's not go too aggressive. And I just normally sweep this up until I start to hear it losing quality of the sound, like losing important parts of the sound, and then take it back a little bit. I think that's all right. I might. No, let's not do that yet. Making it sound better, I don't usually do that until a mixing phase. But I do cut unneeded stuff early on. All right, so we've got his hats. Let's get a rim. Should we make like some chill steppers? Let's try and make some chill steppers. Rim. Let's... I'm using Ableton samples, aren't I? Oh, nearly forgot then. Oh my God, I swear down, if that keeps happening, I'm going to lose my rag. So, let's put the snare in the drum rack. As you can see, I've already got drum racks imported into these because it's my template that I always start with. Now, normal one. Let's put that in the middle there. Let's have a listen. All right, there's a delay on there. Get rid. Does that sound like that? Yeah. Ah, that's better. Let's do that one instead. All right, and it's going to sound dead dry for the time being, because there's no reverbs or anything on there. Now, what do I want now? Cowbell. Let's put some, oh my God, I swear, I can't record videos like this at all. Is it going to come back? Who knows? So let's type in cow. Not that. Ooh, go on, that's a bit. Let's put that in the shakers thing for now. Now, this is something you hear quite a lot in reggae and in steppers in general. It's like a leading pattern with this cowbell. So it'll be like, bap, 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 bap. Bap, bap, bap. All right, yeah, feeling it so far. Let's get a kick now. Ooh, straight in. Straight in there. And this is just going to go on every beat. Yeah, it's coming together. So I'm just going to sort this kick out because look at this. It's quite boomy. There's a lot of sub going on there. We don't need that. So yet again, like I did last time, let's do a little fade out there and then drag this. Yeah, that's better. Sounding good so far. Should we put a skank in there? Let's get a skank. So, sticking with the Ableton stuff, let's go to instruments. Ooh, we got drift. Didn't realise that I'd even updated. What do we want? Organ? Trumpets? Maybe brass. Let's go trump. Instrument rack. We've got a dub trumpet, but that one doesn't work. That's not an Ableton one, so legally I can't use that. Let's have a look. Now I'm going to do solo trumpet because I'm going to be doing chords, so it'll be essentially like if there's going to be 3 trumpets kind of anyway. Let's drag that onto my skank channel. Now, there's enough of a latency problem with my recording setup that I can't really record this in properly without it sounding terrible, so I'm probably going to draw it in. But I'm going to work it out on the keyboard, so I'm going to go down here a second and just have a little play around. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to do A minor, G, D minor, sorry, and then back to A. Wait, no, A, G, D, G. No, it needs to go back to A. Yeah, let's do that. So like I say, I'm not going to try and record it in because the latency is so bad on this setup. But I can easily just draw this in. And then because it's all triads, I can just duplicate, and then let's let's move that up. And move this one to D. And then this one's back there. Now what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to show you how to do an inversion of a chord if you don't know already. So let's have a listen to this first on its own. Oh, hang on. Pardon me, I got burps. So first I'm going to mess around with the sound a bit and try and just get it sounding a little bit better because I'm not really happy with that. There's too much decay maybe? Too much release? Let's see where that's automated to. Let's try a different articulation. Ooh. That's better. Yeah, nice. Let's play it with everything together. I'm liking that so far. All right, so what was I going to do? Inversion. That's it. So look at these chords. These are your normal triads, and if you imagine playing those on your keyboard, when you go from this G chord, the G major, up to the D minor, you're having to move your hand quite a large distance. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these top notes, I'm going to hold Shift and press down, and it's going to move it down a whole octave. Watch this. Yeah? So already now, that's meaning I'm not having to move my hand as far to make this chord. It's going to sound a little bit different, but let's have a listen. Now, if I'm correct, I think inversions go upwards, so that would be the second inversion. Let's do the first inversion. We're going to take what was previously the middle note of the chord, that's now the top one, and we're going to do the same thing, drop it down. Yep, there we go. So you see now, I've got the same note playing in this chord now as the top note there. That D is the same there. So, and then all I'm doing is moving these two fingers, so it's a nice way to make playing the tune easier on the keyboard. Let's have a listen to how this sounds now. Again, it's going to sound quite a bit different, but it's the same chord. Now, I don't really like the sound of that, so I'm going to go back to this one. Why does my hard drive... I don't even need my hard drive plugged in. I'm not using anything that's on the hard drive. Sick. All right, that's that problem solved. So, let's have another listen to that. Now, I don't know if you've already figured this out, but what you could do is duplicate that, the whole thing. That inversion, put it back so it's normal in the second round. So this is your first set of 4 chords. That's your second set. Reinvert it, back up there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert the next one so that sounds a little bit higher as well. And this adds a bit of variation. Can you see how now I've got that same A across all those chords? This note's only dropping down 1 now. Let's see how that sounds. First bit. Yeah, I like that. Now what I might do is uninvert that. Let's see how that sounds. Just this last bit. Just adds a little bit something different to it, you know what I mean? Speaking of adding something different, let's duplicate these drums quite a bit. And then I'm just going to add one there, and then I'm going to drop this down a little. Fuck it. Jesus. Don't want to be swearing. And then for this end one, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to drop that further down. I'm going to put one there as well. Nice. All right, let's have a listen. Nice. Yeah, that's coming on. That's all right, is that? Let's do... Should we do bass? Let's do bass. So I've already got an operator here for sub. I'm not record armed properly. Now, with the bass, I'm going to do that jump up to the D, because I don't have any it's not a chord, it's a bass note, so I have to. What I'm going to do now is, I'm going to play around with it a little bit. It's going to sound bad because of the latency. Just bear with me, please. Right, let's have a play around and see what bass line we can come up with. What I said before in other videos is I try and work out my bass line a few octaves higher so you can really hear it and hear it mixing properly with the notes, and then I just drop it down a few octaves just so I know it's right, because when you're listening to sub, can't always really differentiate the notes, I find. So I'm just going to dabble. Something along those lines. So let's go. So I'm just breathing straight in the mic there. We need a 4-bar loop, and let's just draw in boom, 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 ba-doo-doo. No. Let's jump to the top one, so it's not that, it's that. Da-da. The next notes of that are going to be F and A, but I'm going to hit them low. I'm going to go here. Is that gonna? Let's have a listen. Does it make sense? That's the question. Not too keen on this bit here. Da 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 da. That also sounds bad. Let's try this. That's why, because it's the wrong chord. And then that's going to be wrong. That needs to be down there. Let's try this. It's better. I'll change that in a bit, but that's sounding somewhat better. Not super happy with it, but there's always time to change it. So I'm just going to expand everything out now, so it's proper. Oh, Jesus Christ! And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to hold Alt. I am on Windows. I don't know what that translates to in Mac, but I'm going to hold. Oh God, why does it do that? Just because I want full control over how long I can make these notes. If I hold Alt, it gives you that free drag. Whereas if I don't hold Alt, it's skipped. So I want to do that because I don't want much of a gap in between these notes. Let's do this. Oh my God, this could take a while. I'm sure there's probably better ways to do this, but we're not doing it like that. What I am going to do is highlight these, shift and highlight these and these, and these. Alt, drag, click, boom, and then them. So obviously, for some reason, if you go over more than one block, it decides to not give you the free reign that you want, which is a bit silly. Sort it out, Ableton. Right, let's have a listen to that. It's not the best bass line in the world, but it'll do. So, let's drop it down. Just turning the volume up there. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to put, I feel like there's loads of that going on, but you'll just have to deal with it for now, I'm afraid. I am not a streaming expert. What was I going to do? Saturator. A little saturator on that bass line. Alright, so what I've done there, let's set that back to normal. Saturator's fully wet, so that means whatever happens, the sound itself is going to disappear as I change. No bass in that. I want to keep some of the sub, so what I'm going to do is turn the dry and wet down. That's sub, so we're going to keep sub there no matter what I do to this. Yeah? Sub's still there. Now this is going to be a subtle thing. Yeah, just a little bit of fuzz. I prefer using saturator for that rather than overdrive. I don't know, overdrive just feels a bit too aggressive. Maybe you can key it in a bit more, I don't know. But I just like using saturator. Do I want to warp it? It's kind of like sidechaining without using a sidechain. That. Let's have a listen. That's alright, that. Yeah. I like that, actually. That's decent. So, if the tune puts a smile on your face, it's probably alright. Let's put an organ in. I've done about bubbling before. Instruments. I panicked then because I thought all this and I thought, Jesus, I've lost everything, but I just unplugged my hard drive at dinner. What we're going to put in? Organ. That's it. So, am I going to make my own organ? Let's make his own organ. This is a tutorial within a tutorial. Let's put it in the melody section. Now, how to make an organ in Operator is really easy to make your own. It's kind of like having drawbars. So you're going to click on this here. I need to set that thing where you can see where my mouse is when I click on it. There's like a little thing that pops up where my mouse is. These here, I've explained this before, but let's do it again. These are basically the order that these get pushed through each other. So this one here, D goes through C, goes through B, goes through A. So A is like the final one, the master. This one, they're all, you're hearing every one of them on its own next to each other. So it's like having all four oscillators completely independent from each other. And this is how you make the organ. So imagine like you've heard of a drawbar organ. You're kind of using 4 drawbars to make an organ sound. And what I'll do is I'll hold a note and I'm going to add them in as I'm making it, and you'll see how you can hear each individual note, but then when I stop and play it on its own, it'll just sound like an organ note. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to play, let's go lower. So A, the song's in A, I think. So let's just keep that playing. I'm going to up with these to 2. Let's do 4. Nope, 3, 4. And then let's do a 7. Why not? So you can see, let's stop doing that. You can see here, 1, 2, 4, 7. So they're all at different pitches. Now I'm going to add them in slowly. You'll hear how you can hear every note getting added. And then when I play it on its own, it's just going to sound like an organ. Hopefully. Oh, that's why. Oh, my watch is going off. That means it's on the hour. Let's turn that up and that up and that up. Let's try again. Right, A. Yeah, you can hear it coming in. So you heard each one of those notes come in. Now, it just sounds like a note. Doesn't sound great though. So let's try putting this up. Let's put this down. Put this down a bit. Let's do it even. Let's do... and then a 6. Now, all I'm going to do, call it a lack of creativity, but for the sake of this video, this is going to be what they call the bubble. So where your trumpets are going, ba, 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 your bubble's going to go, ba-cha, 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 ba-cha. If that makes sense. How can you do that, I hear you ask? So we're going to shift all these to one side. Control C, Control V. Do. Bubbling. And it's exactly the same chords as the trumpet, so in theory it should sound all right. Let's have a listen. Right, let's make this sound less bad, because that sounds bad. And what I'm going to do here, there's no skill involved in this. I'm just going to tweak stuff and try and make it sound better than it does. That sounds pretty bad at the moment. Let's try. I'm going to change the attack. Now, what you can do here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to group it, Control and G, click on the instrument, click Control and G, and then you want to open your macros. I'm going to do attack of that. Let's map it to macro 1, and then re-click that again. No, let's re-click on, pardon me. Where is it? I should be able to map to siblings. Where's that gone? All right, I might have to just do it like this, map to AE attack. So now the attack of each of one of these, map to macro 1. Now I'm going to do a little bit of distortion on there or something. I might just saturate it again. I think the difference between a saturator and overdrive is like, it's just adding drive on top of the sound kind of thing. Saturator, I believe, pumps the sound and like squashes it up at the top. I might be wrong, but I think that's how it works. Overdrive is just like, it's crunching it. So I want saturator, where is it? Here we go. I tell you what I'm going to do, get rid of that. Let's change the waveform. I think that's got something to do with it. Get in there. Still sounds a bit gash though, doesn't it? Bass is way too loud. Yeah, I might keep this one short. I might just leave that as that really. One more thing. No, I can't because I don't have. Oh well. I was going to put like a little reggae drum fill in there, but I don't have any audio samples because I've had to unplug my hard drive. So let's just leave it at that. It's just loops. Let's just leave it as loops for now. That is how I would start out making a Steppas tune. Obviously, you're then going to drag it into arrangement view, add transitions and things, stuff like that. But yeah, that's the basics of it, really. Let's see whether this video makes it up. I might decide not to and do a proper one another day and spend a bit more time doing it. But let's have one more listen to it, and maybe I think I just want to put a little reverb on the drums. So let's group the drums, Control and G again, highlight the ones you want, click, Shift, click, highlights all them, and then Control and G, groups. So let's do just a little reverb. I'm going to do this on the group itself. I'm not going to use a send or a return. Let's go reverb. I like Convolution Reverb Pro. It's one of my favorites. I don't really use the hybrid one too much. Come on. Here we go. Now I'm going to put a spring because it's reggae. Ooh, we got some new. No, I don't think so. So let's listen to how this sounds. Let's put it fully wet and get an idea of how it sounds. Already I know I want that to be shorter. So let's pull the decay down. Let's pull the size down a little bit as well, make it real tight. And then I'm going to stop. I'm going to go to the EQ. I'm going to cut off the bass just so we're not getting bass reverb through because that's never good. All right, so you're never going to have full wet reverb on drums. I don't think you would anyway. I'm going to put a tiny amount of this in. Yeah? So I can hear that really well through my headphones. I don't know if you can, but it's just adding a little bit like it sounds in a room, basically. So it's a tiny amount of reverb on that, 4.72%. But you can hear it just adds the tiniest bit of reverb, makes it a bit more believable that it might have been recorded in an actual studio, if you know what I mean. Have another listen. So that's it with. Let's listen without. Dead. And then I want to add a bit of a reverb to my snare as well, because that's sounding dead. So let's do another spring, but let's just do the normal convolution reverb. Spring. No, let's do plates. Let's do a real plate. Why not? Let's do a 3-second Swede plate. And then just solo that. So I want maybe a little bit less decay on that. And what I'm going to do just quickly, because I feel like I can hear a little bit too much low end coming through, I'm going to drop an EQ in, but I'm going to drop it in between the reverb and the snare, so the rim. So it goes rim, EQ, reverb. Look at that. Get everything down here that we just don't need. Jeez. So same thing, high pass filter, up to not too high on the rim. We can see the nice bits around here, and then a little bit there as well. They're the two nice frequencies, so we can probably lose a little bit more here. And that means now we can afford to push the volume a little bit more. Take them kicks down a little bit, do a little bit of mixing. And there you go. It doesn't sound super pro, but I'm just showing you the methodology really more than trying to make it sound sick and like a real dub tune. There you have it. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you got something good from this video. Leave a comment. I reply to every single comment at the moment because I can. There's not like hundreds of people commenting on these videos. I want to thank everyone who watches them and everyone who comments and likes them and stuff. Share them around. Tell your friends. Tell your mum and dad. All that kind of business. My name's Bosh. This has been Bosh's Beginner Bits. I'm out.